Okay, the last video looked at converting percentages. So this time we're going to look at how we convert decimals. Fortunately, if you've looked at the last video and you got the hang of converting percentages to decimals, it makes our job easier when doing the reverse. Now, if you remember, when we were converting percentages to decimals, we moved the decimal point 2 to the left. And it's exactly the same thing here, except we move it in the opposite direction. So when converting decimals to percentages, we move the decimal point 2 to the right, and in this case giving us 56%. A couple of things that do catch people out. In this case, we got 1.43, and people assume because 100% means everything, a whole of something, they think that a percentage shouldn't be over 100. But you have to follow the rules that you've been taught. So the decimal point will move 2 to the right, so it becomes 143%. And you might be surprised, but you can actually have over 100%. That will be done in other videos. Another thing that catches people out is when the number is something like 0.6, because to the right of the 6 by here is an invisible 0. Remember, we never put in zeros that are past the last number that is 1 or higher. So there are endless line of zeros here that people forget about. So when they're thinking of moving the decimal point, they think that this should be 6. But if we look and move that decimal place 2 to the right, one move will put it to the right of the 6, giving us 6%, but moving it again will put it to the right of the invisible 0 that's right by here, hence giving us 60%. So be careful with that one. If there's only one number in the first decimal place, it'll be 60% or 70% or 20%, depending on whatever the number is. So converting decimals into a fraction. Well, for this, we look at the column that the number furthest to the right is in. So in this case, the 6, which is the numbers furthest to the right, is in the tenths column. So you rewrite the number with 6 and tenths underneath. If that had been 62, then the 2 is the number to the furthest to the right, and it's in the hundredths column. So I'd write 62 over 100. If it had been 623, then 3 is the number furthest to the right, and it's in the thousands column. So you write 623 over 1,000. But going back to this example, the 6 by here is in the tenths column. So what we're going to do is put the 6 over a 10, as I've done by here. But then remember, we have to simplify, and in this case 2 will go into both 6 and 10. So 6 divided by 2 gives us 3, 10 divided by 2 gives us 5, and the fraction that we get from that decimal is 3 over 5.